Donald Trump and his White House are crashing out right now in public as Iran refuses to surrender. Donald Trump is framing these negotiations with Iran as you have to accept our terms or else surrender now. And Iran just continues to mock Donald Trump. So what Donald Trump just did is he sent Pakistan's Army Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir, who's the most powerful person in Pakistan, who's acting as basically the lead mediator right now between the Trump regime and Iran. And he just showed up in Iran along with Pakistan's interior minister, and they're there in Tehran trying to basically say, hey, is there any way we can find some agreement with the Trump regime? We know, Iran, you put forward this 10-point framework, and Donald Trump accepted it, but Donald Trump wants to change it now. Is there anything that Trump can offer you? Because I think everybody realizes how close we all are to this war escalating again. Now, Donald Trump clearly doesn't have an appetite for war anymore. I think Donald Trump realizes that his folly resulted in a massive military loss for the United States. But Donald Trump just thinks he's able to bully Iran and threaten Iran with social media posts. And Iran's just saying, no, we're just not going to agree to that. I mean, you have Iran's top commander moments ago giving this warning to the United States. I mean, he is saying the powerful armed forces of Iran will not allow any exports and imports to continue in the Persian Gulf, Gulf of Oman, and Red Sea. If the blockade continues, he adds, Iran will take powerful action to defend its national sovereignty and interests. The top commander of Iran goes on to say, if the aggressive and terrorist America intends to continue its illegal actions in the maritime blockade in the region and creates insecurity for Iran's commercial ships and oil tankers, this action by America will be a prelude to violating the ceasefire. Meanwhile, Iranian social media accounts are posting the visit by the Field Marshal of Pakistan, who's basically the top military person in Iran. And here's what they're saying. If you want a deal that lasts longer than a tweet, step away from the touchscreen. Real diplomacy requires a handshake, not a post button. And it's the Pakistani Field Marshal meeting Foreign Minister Araghchi of Iran. Also, Iranian social media accounts are posting this famous video meme, if you will, and they said, Trump, the Iran war could be settled almost immediately. And it's showing the purported U.S. Navy blockade and Iranian vessels continuing to avoid the blockade, while Donald Trump and CENTCOM claim that they've stopped all Iranian ships right now. And so if you look at what the Trump regime's actions appear to be, it's kind of no strategy. It's what? Prolong a ceasefire indefinitely with this blockade, hoping that daddy bails you out, Donald, right? Like in the rest of Donald Trump's life, when he would bankrupt casinos, daddy would come in and offer a bailout. Are you hoping that European countries, Middle East countries, China, Pakistan, India, I don't know, others figure out a solution for you that you can then swoop in and take credit for while you delay? Do you think that the more time you delay, people are just going to forget about it and now you plan to invade Cuba? Right. That's what we're learning right now. Lots of reporting out of the USA Today and others that now Donald Trump is planning the invasion of Cuba. So do you plan to distract from the Epstein files by invading Iran and then distract from Iran by going back to the Epstein files and then distract from all of it by invading Cuba? Like, is that where we are right now? So then, as I mentioned, the Trump White House crashing out. So moments ago, you had a press conference with Caroline Leavitt, Trump's chief propagandist, along with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. And here, Scott Bessent says the message that we want to send to all the American people right now, short-term pain and volatility for long-term gain. Hey, Bessent, we're in 2026. Y'all promised on day one, like a miracle, you were going to make things so much better. So now you're saying short-term pain, short-term viability for long-term gain? Here, play this clip.
Well, the message is the short-term volatility for long-term gain.
And then Bessent says, but don't worry, I have a great deal of confidence by this summer. we may have gas prices with a 3 in front of it again. So what, $3.98? $3.99? Weren't you all boasting that you were doing $2 a gallon? Now you're saying the best case scenario is the gas prices may have a $3 in front of it. These people are such frauds. Play this clip.
So when are we really going to get $3 a gallon gas?
Well, I think that's going to be the up to how the negotiations go. President Trump said this morning that he thinks we're nearing the end. The U.S. kept their side on the ceasefire. We've stopped firing. The Straits of Hormuz have not been completely reopened. So we will see. And I'm optimistic that during the summer, we will see gas with a 3 in front of it sooner rather than later.
More from Trump's White House right now. Caroline Leavitt said, and folks, I've got great news that the American people surely care about right now. She says, the triumphal arc. We will be building a massive arc in Washington, D.C., everybody. Yay! Here, play this clip.
Thank you, everybody. I know we have 2 very busy cabinet secretaries with us here today. Before we do depart, just one final announcement. As you know, this year we celebrate America's 250th birthday. In honor of this historic occasion, President Trump and the Department of Interior will submit plans for the United States Triumphal Arc, which will be an architectural masterpiece to celebrate our history right here in Washington, D.C.
And more from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who says, service workers love me because of all of the benefits I gave them with no tax on tips. Here's what he has to say. Play this clip.
Well, a couple of things there is I can tell you, I think Kelly's very popular, but I think with service workers, I may be the most popular cabinet secretary in D.C. because when I show up, a doorman, the not so much bartenders, but waiters, waitresses, they all say, thank you for no tax on tips. Again, I was in a diner up in...
And while war and peace, life and death hangs in the balance, Caroline Leavitt is responding to questions about how Dr. Oz said that Donald Trump drinks soda because Trump believes that since soda can kill grass, it must be able to kill cancer. So Trump drinks soda as a way to kill cancer. Play this clip.
Annie.
Thank you, Caroline. I have a question for you and also for the Treasury Secretary. First of all, there was an interview that Dr. Mehmet Oz did recently where he described the president's views on his own diet. He said that he argued that diet soda is good for him because it kills grass. And if you pour it onto the grass, the grass is killed and it therefore must kill cancer cells. I'm wondering if you can, was this sort of an accurate description of how the president sees?
Look, as we all know in this room, I think you know the president has a very good sense of humor. It's one of his most underreported characteristics, I would say. I have heard him tell this joke before. I think the Wall Street Journal should get a better sense of humor.
And then another one for you.
And then she says, let's talk about something else. I saw some reporting that we were endorsing an extension of the ceasefire. That's bad reporting, she says. Here, play this clip.
Ceasefire, Caroline.
Yes, so I saw some reporting, again, bad reporting this morning that we had formally requested an extension of the ceasefire. That is not true at this moment. We remain very much engaged in these negotiations, in these talks. You heard from the vice president directly and the president this week that these conversations are productive and ongoing, and that's where we are right now. I've also seen some reporting about the potentiality for in-person discussions again. Those discussions are being had, but nothing is official until you hear it from us here at the White House. But we feel good about the prospects of a deal. The president mentioned that in his interview yesterday, and it's obviously in the best interest of Iran.
And she goes, thank goodness for the energy dominance we've championed here at the Trump regime, because think about how great prices are, the American people. Here, play this clip.
You expect gas prices to decrease, and thank goodness we have a president in an administration that believes in American energy dominance in bringing down prices at the pump. Look at how gas prices decreased over the past year since this president was in office. It's a stark contrast to the previous administration and Democrats in this city who believe in hampering our domestic energy industry, who believe in importing our most precious resources, who believe in implementing policies that created the worst inflation crisis in history. So
more from Caroline Leavitt right here. She starts to say, I think the allegations against Swalwell are atrocious and any Democrat who knew should be exposed. So stipulated, Caroline Levitt, but you do realize that you're in a White House with someone who is a adjudicated sexual predator found civilly liable for sexual assault. Like, you do realize that Donald Trump's on tape bragging about sexually assaulting women. He says, you're rich, you get away with it. Like, you do realize that that's who you work for, Epstein's bud, and someone, and you're involved in a cover-up of, the White House is involved in a cover-up of a child sex trafficking ring. So I appreciate the outrage about Swalwell and Democrats. This should be a bipartisan issue. Y'all work at ground zero of the cover-up of the child sex trafficking ring. Play this clip.
And one for Caroline, as well as the administration in general, if I may. This past Saturday, I published a video of now former Representative Eric Swalwell in bed. The president's heading to Las Vegas. Well, Eric Swalwell was in Las Vegas in this video. I'm told, according to geotagging, this scandal has erupted now. Accusers coming forward, many others coming forward, as well as questions regarding his extremely close relationship with Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego. And I want to know if the administration had any comment on the fact that Senator Gallego seemed to be very vocal about wanting the release of the Epstein files, and yet when questions come to his own involvement with Eric Swalwell, he doesn't seem to want to provide anything.
Yeah, look, I think the accusations and allegations against former Representative Swalwell are despicable and disgusting. I think it's also quite plausible, as you point out, Jack, that there were many other Democrats in this town on Capitol Hill who knew about his perhaps illegal behavior, certainly his disgusting and inappropriate behavior. And why were they silent for so long? I think those are questions that must be raised of these sitting representatives, including Mr. Gallego. And I hope that the journalists in this room will do their jobs, and the journalists on Capitol Hill will do their jobs to ask Democrats in power how they knew about such despicable behavior from one of their elected representatives for so long, but never said or did anything.
And then finally, Besson says, look, I understand times are hard, but blame the Supreme Court for it. Let's play it.
Just to be clear, thanks to the Supreme Court, some of this money is going back to China. So is that going to affect the U.S. economy? I don't know.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. And thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Have a good one.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.